Hey everyone, it's Joe. Saturday the 27th of May on a beautiful, very warm day here in the south of London. Things are starting to look really nice and green here. So let's do a little garden update for you all. I think we'll start off with my Colombian pink guava seedlings, which are over here. Doing really well, lapping up the sunshine and the warm weather. Absolutely love the leaves. Nice pointy leaves here, beautiful stems, sort of pink reddish colour there. Doing really well. Some of them need repotting into larger pots. Roots are starting to come through the bottom there. They definitely need to be repotted. And behind them we've got some pineapple guava seedlings. Now I planted some seeds from the fruit I had last year for my in-ground trees. Over here we have a miracle berry, which is doing really well. A little bit of a leaf discoloration here, and I have repotted it into a more acidic soil, so that should help, as miracle berries, they need a acidic soil to flourish. Over here we have some strawberries in the grow basket. So looking forward to some nice sweet strawberries at some point. With my cat Flame taking some shade from the sun. More Colombian pink guavas. And below we have some lemon Catty guava seedlings. So unfortunately I lost my large tree that was in ground over the winter. But fortunately I had taken some seeds from the fruit. And there we are, we've got quite a few plants. So that's really good. Lost one tree and gained 10 plants. Over here we have an Egyptian white guava. Absolutely beautiful specimen, guys. Need to cut away these suckers as they draw energy away from the main trunk. But a really beautiful tree, almost bonsai looking. Lovely leaves. And yeah, it's doing really well outside. Over here we have a larger tropical guava. This is another pink guava, but not a Colombian variety. Lovely large leaves here. Pinkish purple new foliage. And it did have a lot of flower buds, but unfortunately they all dried up and fell off. Apart from one, which is over here. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me try and zoom in. So we've got a flower bud there. Hopefully that will open up and I'll get to enjoy seeing the flower. And you never know, it might produce a fruit. We'll see. A beautiful specimen. It's got one main trunk here and it branches off to two, and then we've got several more branches up on the top. Over here we have my Australian finger lime. This was recently purchased. It's doing really well in this very large pot here. Just repotted it not too long ago. It did lose quite a bit of leaves during our cool early spring weather, and it was very rainy too, but it is putting on some new growth. Let's see if I can show you guys. And even more encouraging, I can see a lot of flower buds, very small, tiny flower buds. Let's zoom in there. Can you see that, guys? And they are all over the tree. So that's my Australian finger lime. Now over here we have cherimoya seedlings. This one's pushing out a little bit of new growth here. Not very fast growing. Sort of moderate growth on these trees. It's in a large pot. And we've got another cherimoya over there which needs repotting. Over here we have my Sanguinello blood orange, and it did flower profusely for quite a while. We've still got some flowers on here. The aroma is amazing, guys. Absolutely beautiful smell. Now we've got lots of fruitlets all over the tree. I would say the majority will probably fall off, as this small tree cannot hold all this fruit. But the branches are quite thick actually, so should be able to hold a couple of fruit at least. So that's the Sanguinello blood orange. Flower and fruitlets all over. Next to it we have my Satsuma. This is a replacement for one I lost in the ground over the winter, unfortunately. This is beautiful little specimen here, and you can see it's got some flower buds swelling, some new growth showing there. But yeah, doing really well. There's some sticky stuff here, so that might be due to aphids, so I'll have to give that little spray at some point. But still, nice green healthy leaves on both these citruses. Okay, let's have a look at my Domenico Toro fig tree, which is over here. Absolutely beautiful tree, guys. Doing really well. Very green and healthy. And we've got some Braber figs. Last year we didn't get any Braber figs from this tree, unfortunately, due to the late frost. But thankfully this year we've had no late frost, and we've got a number of Braber crop around the tree. There's one up here. This produces purple, sweet, jammy, delicious figs. And we've got 5 other varieties of figs grafted onto this tree. This section here is the variety Spanish Black. Beautiful leaves here, very large. And this particular variety produces the most delicious figs, very, very sweet. Now, I haven't had any figs from this grafting, but I have a larger tree at the back which gave me some lovely figs last year. So this is the Spanish Black. I'll show you where the graft is. This is the grafting union, Domenico Toro, Spanish Black. Really big branch here, and it's branched off into all of this Spanish Black. Okay, we're going to go to the center of the tree. We have another graft, or another variety of fig, and this one here is the Smith. This is probably a 2-year-old graft, and it did have some Braber figs on here, but they dried up and fell off. I suppose it's a young grafting and just wants to push up on leaf growth. But yeah, flourishing, and there is signs of some figlets here. I'm not sure if you can see, so maybe these will get larger. Hopefully we'll get some figs from this year. There's another graft over here. This is the Cadota. This is where I've grafted it, and all of this is the Cadota fig. Even this branch in here, lovely leaves again, and hopefully we'll get some main crop figs from the Cadota. Okay, we've got another variety here, the Signora, which has been recently grafted onto the tree. You can see it hasn't yet pushed out any growth, but it is alive, and I can see signs of green on that, so hopefully at some point this would begin to leaf out. Beautiful tree. More Braber figs here on the Domenico Toro variety. Okay, we'll take a look at the Dalmati. So this is the Dalmati variety. You see the leaf shape here is totally different than the rest of the tree's leaves. Almost finger-like, very long leaves. Lovely growth here on the Dalmati. It's branched out very nicely. You can see where I've grafted it, starting to really blend in with the main tree here. Branched out nicely. Fig trees are pretty easy to graft. They really take well. They're not that hard to graft. I love these leaves on the Dalmati. And then we have another Dalmati in a pot. Doing pretty well. No figs on it. Oh, we have a Braber fig on the Dalmati, so that's pretty cool. And hopefully we'll get some main crop. But yeah, No figs on this one in the pot. Over here we have Basilica White, and this was taken from a cutting from Crete. Hasn't done well for me because, well, I've pretty much neglected it. Although I have now repotted it, and it's going to do a lot better. It's in quite a large pot, and it's starting to take off. Whether or not I get any figs from this tree this year remains to be seen. Over here we have Noix de Carom. Lovely leaves there. Love that shape. And this has also been recently repotted. We have some tomatoes down here. So looking forward to some nice juicy tomatoes for my salads and for cooking. Over here is my pomegranate tree, which I grew from seed several years ago. Beautiful tree. No flowers as yet. I mean, it's still quite young, but you can see that it's grown really well. It's looking nice and healthy. I did give it a little prune up at the bottom, just so it'll be more tree-like. Although, I mean, pomegranates, they're really bushy shrubs, but you can train them into trees. Over here we have a recently planted black Pakistan mulberry. It's just starting to push out new growth, so this is taking its sweet time. We can see some new growth here, guys. And we have down below, let's see if I can zoom in and show you. Let's see if we can see some fruit. Let me move back a bit. Okay, so some fruit there, guys, hidden behind the leaves. So really encouraging. That's the black Pakistan mulberry. Now, a little bit of a surprise. We've got my bananas that I had lost over the winter starting to come back. Very, very pleased about that. This is the Helen's hybrid banana, and these are an edible variety. It's supposed to be really sweet, although the seeds are very hard. But I'm so pleased. I mean, this area here was where the main trunk was, which I lost. But yeah, we've got bananas. So within the next few weeks or so, that should be a lot taller. More figs in pots. Spanish black over here. In a very large pot. I mean, look at the trunk, guys. Very thick. I could actually airlay these if I wanted to, or root these branches. And a beautiful specimen. Spanish black. We have a Smith over here. Nice green leaves. Senora. And a Oro Blanco. All very healthy. The Oro Blanco produces striped figs. Okay, moving on. Let's have a look at the pineapple guavas. So this is my large unknown here, which produces the most delicious sort of bubblegum tasting guava. Quite a strange flavour, but I really enjoy it. And below we have the Triumph variety, which is obviously a lot smaller, but helps with cross-pollination. This year it seems to be a bit behind, but we do have flower buds. Let's see if I can show you guys. Got some flower buds here and probably elsewhere around the tree if I decide to look for them. But yeah, not as much as last year, but that's okay. Over here is my large unknown, as I said before, and this is also pushing out quite a lot of new growth. Also a little bit behind than last year. We had a very cool start to spring, but we do have some flower buds here and lots of new growth. This one is a beautiful specimen, guys. Look how large that is. I will give it a prune back after the summer. But yeah, a lovely specimen. Moving on to my North American pawpaw. This is the Allegheny. Very young grafted plant here. You can see it's got some leaves now, and it's pushing out a bit of growth, so that's good. It's going to take several years before I get any fruit from this tree, but still very cool. And then over here we have the Susquehanna. Leaves are a little bit larger than the Allegheny. Doing really well. I mean, we did have slugs attack this tree. I don't know if you can see, yeah, sort of stripped off some of the bark. So I had to put some copper tape down to dissuade them from climbing up this small tree. Beautiful. Over here we have a new loquat in the garden. Just planted very recently. Beautiful specimen. Came from an Italian nursery, and you can see it's got quite a bit of new growth here. So hopefully that'll help with cross-pollination with my Roseanne variety at the back of the garden. Now over here was my mini citrus orchard, and unfortunately I lost all of my citrus. I had Satsuma over here, which I've now planted a pomegranate seedling, which is taking its time to leaf out. Here was my yuzu, and you can see that this was the grafted area. That's dead. This is the rootstock, and it's been stripped by slugs. I'm probably going to take that out. So that's a shame, but never mind. That's gardening for you. Over here was where my clementine was, which grew so well last year. That died in the freezing December temperatures we had. But I've replaced it with a mammoth variety pineapple guava, and this is probably one of my favorite ones. The flavor is absolutely delicious. Very, very tropical, fruit punch like flavor to the mammoth variety, so that should do very well in this area of the garden. It gets all day sunlight here. Okay, over here is my prima North American pawpaw, and you can see we've got no flowers, unfortunately. Last year we had loads of flowers, didn't get any fruit, even though this is supposedly a self-fertile variety. You can see it's leafing out very well, so hopefully in the future we will get some fruit from this tree. It's just taking its time. You just got to be patient as a gardener. That's my prima pawpaw. Turn him round. We'll go to my persimmons. This one over here is the Nikita's Gift, and it has really put out a lot of growth this spring. I mean, look, you can see all of this new growth here. So very, very healthy, glossy leaves here. They'll get a lot larger as we head into summer. I'm probably going to prune the lower branches. They're a bit too low for me, but I mean, I just love the structure of this tree here. It's the Nikita's Gift. It's meant to be a very, very good variety, very sweet fruit from this particular variety. Okay, over here is my white Pakistan mulberry, which is doing a bit better than my black. This is in a pot, in a large pot. Started to push out quite a bit of growth. The fruit are delicious from this variety. It almost tastes like honeydew, sweet honeydew melon. Got a fruit here. I'm not sure if that's going to stay on, but we should have some more fruit somewhere around, hopefully. I'm not going to look for it. I think I can see some at the back there, but that's the white Pakistan mulberry. Beautiful plant. I wish I had space to put this in the ground. Never mind. Can't put every tree in the ground. Okay, this is my unknown variety Chinese jujube. Beautiful tree here. You can see it's just putting on growth. Shoots all over the tree. And hopefully we'll get some lovely jujubes. This is going to be a long branch here, guys, you can see. So you get some branches that grow over the spring that are going to be permanent, and then the ones that have the fruit hanging on won't be permanent. They'll fall off after the tree is fruited for you. But yeah, lots of growth from this jujube. Over here we have another jujube. This is my lang, and last year it put on so much growth. I mean, this tree is taller than my fence. I mean, even the unknown is pretty tall, but the lang, that's really grown. I'm sure it's going to put on a lot of new growth this summer. You can see here, and this has quite large fruit, tastes almost apple-like, and I'm hoping for a good harvest this year. Look, a lot of growth, guys. In the coming weeks, these trees are going to really bush out. Okay, moving on to there's my olive tree, which I gave it a heavy prune to allow more light into the garden. This is my Roseanne loquat, another beautiful specimen. Did fruit for me last year, but unfortunately the freezing temperature yet again took out all the fruit, so I didn't get to enjoy the fruit from this tree. Hoping this year it's going to flower for me and I'll have the fruit next year. Fingers crossed. But yeah, lots of new growth from the Roseanne. Beautiful tree. Almost dwarf-like. There's the trunk down there. It's got some suckers there from the rootstock, so I'm going to have to cut them back. But there you go. Now, over here is my Rojo Brillante persimmon. And if you guys can remember, last year I lost a huge portion of this tree due to the weight of fruit. It was laden with fruit. And unfortunately, I didn't know about thinning them. And a bit naive, and it just broke the center of the tree in half, snapped it in half, which was very sad. But as you can see, it's still very healthy and putting on a lot of new growth. Sorry about the noise from my neighbors, that's them cutting their lawn. And also, which is very encouraging, we have a lot of flower buds, guys, all over. Almost on every branch we've got flower buds, so that's very positive. You can see them, I mean, everywhere. So it looks like we're going to get fruit from the Rojo Brillante. I mean, I didn't expect it to fruit from that, you know, from the injury of the tree last year, or to flower, but you can see it's a happy tree. So that's the Rojo Brillante. We'll take a look at my Chocolatino, and that's put on a lot of growth there, guys. That's an Italian variety, and last year, unfortunately, because of the late frost, we lost a lot of new shoots. But because we've had no late frost, we've got this tree growing really strong. And not only that, but this tree is covered, I mean covered with flower buds. So I'm really hoping that I'm going to get, for the first time, to taste the Chocolatino persimmon. I mean, all over this tree. I'm going to show you at the top in a minute. We have flower buds. Okay, so I've had to climb up onto my shed to show you the Chocolatino covered in flower buds, guys. I mean, all over. Zoom in there. On every branch you can see flower buds. So I'm very excited about the Chocolatino variety. you go, guys. And over here is my very large Spanish black. Lots of new growth, and hopefully we'll get some main crop figs. Okay guys, I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate you subscribing. Happy gardening.